Again the sounds of shrill police sirens have broken the silence on the great estate of Collinwood. For one man has tried to kill another, and vowed that he would keep trying until the deed is done.
Mrs. Johnson, if you come in the drawing room, I'd like to hear your account of just what happened today.
Well, I pray I never live through a day like that again. The things that I've seen. Oh, Sheriff, you have to keep Joe Haskell in that jail because he's going to try it again. I know it.
No.
You should have seen his eyes.
You just let us worry about Joe Haskell. We have him in custody.
Oh.
Now then, Mrs. Johnson, how long have you known Joe?
Oh, since he was a boy.
All his life. Now, you went to the old house this morning.
Yes, I was worried about Mr. Barnabas, so I went down to the old house to see if he was all right. And the door to the old house was open, so I just went in. I saw Mr. Barnabas, and Joe Haskell was standing over him. Joe had a rope around Mr. Barnabas's neck, and Joe was pulling the rope tighter, and Mr. Barnabas was strangling.
Dr. Hoffman.
Oh, is he all right? Is he? Is Barnabas all right?
Yes, I understand he is.
Are you sure?
Oh, yes. Joe ran out when I came in, and I tried my best to make Mr. Collins as comfortable as I could.
Well, I better go.
I'd like to talk to you first, Doctor.
But surely it can wait.
Dr. Hoffman, Mr. Collins, and then you came here.
Yes.
Joe Haskell was found an hour later at the Eagle Hill Cemetery by Mr. Roger Collins.
That's correct.
That's all, Mrs. Johnson.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Hoffman.
I'm not sure what I can tell you, Sheriff. Obviously, I wasn't aware that all this had happened.
I have a feeling you know why Joe Haskell did it, Doctor.
I don't at all.
Dr. Hoffman.
Well, he's not well, obviously.
Why does Joe Haskell think Barnabas Collins is trying to kill him?
Does he?
That's his defense. Or will be, if this is brought to trial. In your opinion, Doctor, does he have any reason to think this?
No, of course not.
I see. What about Haskell's medicine? I understand that he says it was poison. Was it?
Yes.
Who could have put the poison in it?
Any number of people.
Who?
Well, Barnabas, me, Willie Loomis, Maggie Evans. She visited him.
Where is the medicine now?
I left it at the old house. I came here to get some fresh medicine. Sheriff, I'll be honest with you. I don't have any idea how the poison could have gotten into the medicine bottle.
Barnabas Collins was giving Haskell a dose of the medicine when you noticed something was wrong.
Yes, but Barnabas didn't know.
Did he usually give Haskell his medicine?
Any of us did. Anyone, whoever was sitting with him.
But you know of no reason why Barnabas Collins wanted Haskell dead.
Well, of course not. Barnabas was responsible for saving Joe Haskell. Joe is not completely rational, Sheriff. He's disturbed mentally. I don't think you can take his accusation seriously.
I think you can. Someone was driven Joe Haskell to this irrational state, as you put it, and I mean to find out who it is. Oh, you may go now, Dr. Hoffman, and attend Mr. Collins if you wish, and you might warn him that I have many questions to ask him, too.
So, Sheriff Patterson wants Joe Haskell's medicine, does he? Very well, he shall have it. I had nothing to do with the poison, Julia. Nothing at all. And no one can prove that I did.
Barnabas, will you let me examine you?
No.
But Joe might have hurt you.
I'm all right, Julia.
Well, obviously you're not.
My throat is getting better.
Barnabas, Sheriff Patterson is going to come and question you. Unless I can truthfully say that you're in no condition
You shouldn't be thinking about me, Julia.
Shouldn't I? Well, I am. Sheriff Patterson implies that it's quite serious. I think so, too. I think you should call a lawyer.
Julia, you should be thinking about Joe Haskell and what will happen if the police find those marks on his neck.
Well, what if they do find them?
And what if they ask him to explain how he got them?
Well, he won't tell them. He didn't tell us. And besides, what if they do find out who the vampire is? Perhaps they can be more successful than we were. Barnabas, what difference does it make who catches the vampire?
A great deal.
Why?
Well, if they find the vampire, I'm sure that my past will somehow be discovered.
Oh, Barnabas, that's insane. You've got no connection with it.
Well, I don't want to take any chances. Now, where's Joe?
He's in the hospital, under guard, I assume.
Well, as his physician, you can see him, can't you?
Yes.
Then I want you to go there now, this very minute. Find out what he has said. That is the most important thing. If you can, try to give him a sedative so he can't say any more.
Barnabas, why are you so afraid?
Well, I'm concerned about what Joe Haskell might say.
Why are you? Why?
All right, Julia. If you choose not to help me, you might as well go back to Collingwood.
I want to help you.
Then you know how you can.
Yes, I'll go to the hospital. But Barnabas, I wish I understood.
I've explained it all.
No, there's one thing you haven't explained. Why you suddenly seem to be protecting the vampire. Why?
You know I'm doing no such thing, Julia.
Prided myself on not saying too much, but Sheriff Patterson just rattled me so. I hope I didn't get you into any trouble, Mr. Collins.
Of course you didn't, Mrs. Johnson.
Well, I don't think you heard what I said. I had to tell him that you told me not to call the police, and I didn't call them. I resisted the temptation, but you see, Mr. Roger didn't know that you didn't want the police involved.
Well, I was concerned about Joe Haskell. That's why I didn't want anyone involved.
It's a very Christian attitude of yours. I'm afraid one that I couldn't have. What's wrong?
Sheriff Patterson. Don't get upset now, Mrs. Johnson. I'll explain everything. Now, just be calm. Well, Sheriff, good afternoon.
Mr. Collins?
I was expecting you. Come in.
Yes, I assume you were.
Goodbye, Mrs. Johnson, and assure my cousin Elizabeth that I'll be all right.
Yes.
Won't you come into the drawing room, Sheriff? Could I give you some sherry?
No, thank you, Mr. Collins.
Well, it's most unfortunate incident. I do hope that you will give Joe Haskell the proper care.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Oh, but I do. It's tragic to watch someone you know, collapse as he has.
Joe Haskell was staying here with you before the incident, wasn't he?
Yes.
How long had he been here?
3 days, I believe.
Why was he here?
Well, I'm sure you know the story. Won't you sit down, Sheriff?
Yes, I've not heard your version of it, Mr. Collins.
Well, I'm sure my version doesn't differ from any other. I was walking in the woods one night at the estate, and I found him. He was rather badly injured.
How had he been injured?
Well, I don't really know.
Now, Mr. Collins, you brought him here. You called Dr. Hoffman. Surely you must have some theory as to what happened to him?
Well, I gather that he himself caused the wound.
You mean he tried to commit suicide?
Yes.
You must realize that if you had taken him to a hospital, the police would have automatically been called in.
Yes, I suppose I knew that.
Is that why you didn't take him to the hospital?
Of course not. Dr. Hoffman felt that he shouldn't be moved. His condition was such that...
That 3 days later, he was strong enough to get out of bed, attack you, and run through the woods.
At what cost to himself? Now, Julia Hoffman is in the hospital now. She's terribly concerned that his actions might cause a serious relapse.
Mr. Collins, I would like to know why you didn't report his attempted suicide to us.
Well, my dear Sheriff Patterson, Joe is a friend. I don't want it known. He's been having such a difficult time recently.
Why has he?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask him. I can't answer that for him. You see, I simply felt that under the circumstances, the fewer people that knew about what he had done, the better.
And the result is Haskell tries to murder you.
Oh, I believe that also has been overstated.
Oh, come now, Mr. Collins. Mrs. Johnson told me exactly what happened when she walked in this house.
Oh, Mrs. Johnson was hysterical. I'm sure her story was more vivid than real.
Joe Haskell has admitted what he did. He swears that he will try again.
I don't believe he will.
I do. He thinks he has a reason to kill you.
That's an aberration.
He thinks you're trying to kill him.
Sheriff, you are dealing with a man who is not in control of his faculties, obviously.
When Joe Haskell broke up with Maggie Evans, did you try seeing her?
Seeing her?
Yes, did he have any reason to be jealous of you?
Over Maggie Evans? Good heavens, no.
Well then, over any other woman? There is someone missing in this case. And I have a hunch that it's a woman. Am I right, Mr. Collins?
Barnabas?
Joe Haskell and I never quarreled over any woman, so I'm afraid your hunch is wrong.
Well, Dr. Hoffman says that his medicine was tampered with, that it had been poisoned.
That's correct. It's here. I'm sure you would be interested in testing it.
Yes, Mr. Collins. Very interested. And after we've checked out the medicine, I'm afraid I'm going to have many more questions to ask you, Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins? Mr. Collins!
I'm sorry.
Barnabas, you must come to me. I told you to be here when I awoke. Why didn't you come to me, Barnabas? Why? Come. Leave your house. Now.
Where are you going, Mr. Collins?
Nowhere. Nowhere at all.
You know you want to come to me. Why are you fighting me? You know how much I need you now. Come to me. Come to me. Please.
Mr. Collins, what did you say?
Nothing. Nothing. I must be suffering from the effects of my experience. I believe you were asking a question.
What question, Mr. Collins?
I don't really remember. I'm sorry. I don't feel well. You can see that. Can't we discuss these questions further at some other time?
I don't understand, Mr. Collins. Something is happening in this house now, isn't it, Mr. Collins? Something that's making you feel this way. What, Mr. Collins? What?
Oh, Sheriff Patterson.
Oh, I hope I didn't frighten you, Dr. Hoffman.
The woods are scary.
Yes, I wouldn't be wandering around in them if I were you.
I was just taking a shortcut to the old house. Oh, the dogs.
Yes. They upset Mr. Collins, too.
Oh?
Dr. Hoffman, you're close to Mr. Collins, aren't you?
Yes.
Is he usually in the best of health?
Yes. Yes, of course he is. Why?
Well, he's acting so strangely. He was almost as if he were having an attack of some kind.
Really? What kind of an attack?
I don't know. He was standing there at the window, listening to those dogs. He didn't seem to hear a word that I was saying. It was as if he were ill. I thought he was going to faint. He kept talking to himself, and it was as if those dogs howling did something to him. Something that changed him completely.
I will not go to her. Not tonight. It is too dangerous. I will not go.
I can't let you alone, Barnabas.
Leave.
If you won't come to me,
I couldn't. The police were here.
come to me now.
Didn't you hear me? The police may come back.
Have you given Joe the medicine? Is he dead?
No. No, he's alive. No, Julia Hoffman stopped me.
What? Then we must finish him now.
We can't. The police have him. He's in the hospital.
How dare you fail me? You have not yet learned, have you? That you must not disappoint me. No, you're still too much your own person, Barnabas. I will not have that. No, I will not. You must learn that you are mine.
No. 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 No.
Can you hear me, Barnabas? Now you must know how much mine you are. Now you must know that soon you will be with me forever.
Barnabas.
Stay away from me.
Barnabas, what is it? What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing you can do anything about.
Barnabas. Barnabas. Barnabas.